All right. Now, the first thing we have to understand is for compound interest, let's understand what simple interest is. Let's suppose that you have 3 years to pay off a loan of $100. Okay. So we're going to do two scenarios. The scenario one, you're going to see simple interest, and scenario two is compound interest. And this is going to be now, 1 year's time, 2 years' time, and let's say 3 years' time over here. Now, 1 year's time, 2 years' time, and let's say 3 years' time over here, just randomly. So I start off, I'm going to call it T naught, which is time naught. T1 is in a year's time, T2, and then T3. T naught, T1, T2, and then T3. Over years, compound interest, let's put the compound interest on this side because it's there. And let's put simple interest on this so we can see the difference. All right, the question says I invest $100 into a bank account growing at 10% interest per annum. Per annum means per year. So what I have to do here is I have to allocate $100 now. Right now at time naught, which is now, I would put $100 in my bank. Once I have $100, I leave it in there and I wait for 1 year. And after 1 year, it grows. Now what you'll notice is with simple interest, because the growth is 10%, I would take $100. So to calculate this amount over here, I would take $100 and I would multiply it by 10%. And so that will become 0.10, right? Times 100. And that'll come to $10. All right. So plus $10 and get to $110 after 1 year. The thing with simple interest, the reason they call it simple interest is because it's quite simple. We just keep adding $10 onto it. So plus another $10 comes to $120. Yeah.
Are you supposed to be writing something?
For this. No, it's all good. So yeah, so that's basically where it's at here. All right, let's quickly run through it again, just so you can see. So the first thing here is we've got these two lines. Okay, so time naught is now time 1 year, and this is a simple interest. So just starting again from here. So the question says, I invest $100 into a bank growing at 10% interest. Per annum means per year, right? So $100, $100. And now it's going to grow here, right? This growth over here is going to be 10% off 100. So we take 10% off 100, which comes to $10. And so we add $10 in here. That's how we get 110. And then we add another $10 to get to the next one. And we add another $10 to get to the last part here. So what you notice is with simple interest, we simply keep adding the original percentage of the amount. And with simple interest, there's a simple interest formula, which is A equals P1 plus IN, where A equals to the final amount, P equals to my present value, I equals my interest, N equals my term, how many years, etc. So if I substitute over here 100 for P, because that's my value here, I want to find out what is A, and I know that I is 10%, which is the same as 10 over 100. So I change this into a decimal to make it 0.1. And my term is the total number of years, and I got 3 years here. So I put 3 in here. This is a formula-driven part, right? So this is method 1, where we simply working out each amount using cash flows. Method number 2, I actually use a formula. The formula will come to 1 plus 0.3, which is 1.3. And you can see the final amount would be $130 for this. Now let's have a look at compound interest, and we can see the exact difference between the two. Okay. With compound interest, we start off with $100. In the first year, we take $100 and we increase it, we multiply it by 10%, which comes to $10. And then we add that back onto the $100. So this amount is $10. And so that comes to $110. And so we put that over there. The second amount, what we do here is we take $110 multiplied by 10%, which is basically divided by 10. That comes to $11. And we take $110 plus $11, which comes to $121. And so this becomes $121. And you can already see the difference. These two are the same, but then all of a sudden now it's changed. It's $1 more. And so to go to the third year, we take the increased amount of $121 and we increase it by another 10%. So remember, 10% of 121 is $12.1. And then we add that back onto the $121, which comes to $133.1 or 10 cents. And so you can see there's a $3.10 difference. So compound interest will grow an amount faster than simple interest. So simple interest will be much slower oil. And imagine if this was millions. If this is $100 million, $110 million, $101, $103 million, then suddenly it's a big amount. Suddenly it's a $3 million 10 cents difference between the two. And so compound interest also likewise will have its own formula. So this is method 1. And that can be time consuming because you have to calculate each amount. So there's a formula we use. A equals P1 plus I to the power of n. And this is my compound interest formula. This is my compound interest formula. Again, A is the final amount. P is my present value. I is my interest charged. And N is my term. And N is my term for this. So from this here, we can see that my final amount is what I want. My present amount is $100. My interest, again, is 10% divided, which is basically 10 divided by 100, which is 0.1. And my term is 3 years. So we calculate it like this. We're going to put 100 here, 1 plus 0.1, but now to the power of 3. And so that comes to 100 times 1.1 to the power of 3. We put that on a calculator. And that'll come to, let's check if it's right. 1.1 to the power of 3. $133.10. So you could calculate how much the amount would grow to in 10 years' time by simply just changing the 3 into a 10, for example. Okay, so on the left-hand side, we've got compound interest, and on the right-hand side, we've got simple interest with each example, right?